Joining me now for further analysis, Policy Director for Independent Women's Forum, Hadley, Heath. Hadley, I want to go over some of these things. Let's start with overall taxes because, again, Kamala Harris was saying, hey, forget 21%, let's go back to 35%. And I get that Joe Biden is talking a more moderate talk, but I simply do not believe that a President Biden could push back against the power and might of the progressives in his party, particularly when he wants to spend a lot of money. And I don't think he would stop at 28% on business tax. I think he would go to 35%.
I think there are two critical questions here, Charles, and one, of course, is at the end of the day, which party controls not just the White House, but both houses of Congress. Of course, we're having congressional and Senate elections this fall as well. That will determine a lot of the policy agenda of any White House moving forward, what they can or cannot get done. And then a second question, of course, is the future of this pandemic and its impact on our economy. I think it's going to be much harder to pass a tax increase or to justify it when our economy is still weak and unemployment numbers are high, because if you take that money out of the private sector, you're making it that much harder to get people back to work.
Well, you sound like a policy director, not a politician. I mean, if I'm Joe Biden on first day, I'm saying, listen, we got to take money from these rich folks that paid for the damage of COVID-19. And again, they're going to cheer. I mean, this is a platform that, listen, this is not about true unity. It's about redistribution of wealth again. And to what degree, I think we're discussing here. But we know that policies are going to change. There will be more regulations. There will be higher taxes. I think the question, though, is particularly for investors, is just how quickly those kind of changes would be made and just how far they would go. And that's what I'm concerned about.
Right. Well, every policymaker is in politician mode right now if they're up for re-election going into this fall, and they're talking in terms of ideas and slogans rather than the specifics of the policies they support. They're talking about intentions. They're not talking about results. But we do have a lot of results when it comes to everybody who's on the ticket this fall. We have their record to look back to. And in the case of Senator Harris, you know, she's someone who I think now on the Biden ticket is going to run more as a moderate Democrat, when in reality her record shows that she's pretty progressive. She supports the Union-Friendly PRO Act, which would make it much harder for Americans to work as independent contractors. A lot of restrictions to our economy. And you know, 2020 has been a very turbulent year. I understand a lot of Americans see the pandemic as a big problem that needs bigger government as a solution, although I disagree with that logic. I think that's going to support Biden-Harris going into the fall. The question will really be, of course, what are the risks and downsides of expanding government when it comes to health care and in terms of economic regulations and taxation? Those things don't come without a cost, and the cost is often borne by the people who can bear it the least.
Yeah, and of course, we should remind everyone, and people should remember where this country was in February and the kind of momentum we had and who actually was enjoying the best growth. The best percentage gains were happening for households in those lower economic brackets, Hadley, and I would love to see that resume. Thank you very much. Always appreciate our conversations.